On today's show,
Dubs go ice cold at home while the Spurs rally to make it 9 straight. Can San Antonio catch the Warriors out west?
in Crossfire, we debate which young players have a shot at the 30,000 point club and the best slam cover of all time.
And you'll be falling head over heels for our new edition of the Meme Team.
It's Thursday, March 9th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to the starters. Whether you're listening to the podcast, joining us live right now on NBA TV, or a little bit later on YouTube, we're very, very happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
Matt Devlin is our friend.
Dude, it's right. The international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, over there, it's the bearded one. It's Trey Kirby.
Hey,
Oh, TK, what's up?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at #TheStarters. And if you didn't see the show yesterday, I paid off my February pick'em loss in a March Madness themed challenge that left me covered in coconut cream pie, some milk straight out of Matt Bonner's shoe,
Yummy.
some leftover milk off of the table, mostly in my beard, some chocolate pudding, though I couldn't find the single corn kernel put in there, and of course, 3 dozen eggs. Now, this does sound like the ingredients to a delicious cake, and my hair does look gorgeous today, but it was not a good look. But it brings us, right? Like, look
Yeah,
at
it
the
looks good.
volume
You
on
look
this.
great.
Out of a salon.
Man, I can feel it wiggling in the air. Anyways, it
let's
brings
throw
us
some
to
more eggs.
today. Fine, bring it on. Anyways, it brings us to today's question: what did Sloppy Trey look like? Because people on the internet have been having a little bit of fun with this, like Davey, who turned this into one of those Apple shot on iPhone 7 ads that I'm sure they're going to use, or Squish, who said, "What up, Radagast?" comparing me to the Brown Wizard from the Hobbit films. On Instagram, Jenna Blackwell hopped on the "This is the future liberals want" meme, while Woodjohn says, "This looks like a scene from Dexter." Fair enough, but my favorite comment comes from Fun Ben, who said, "It looks like someone just gave birth to Trey." I bet that hurt. But we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter what does Sloppy Trey look like. Send us your best tweets to #TheStarters. We'll hear them a little bit later.
And if you're wondering, yes, it does smell like eggs in here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's got quite the pungent odor in here. It's disgusting. What do we think? All right, we got a fun show tonight. Get your tweets in. We got Crossfire. Tass and I will go head-to-head, and we got a new edition of the Meme Team. But first, we play a little Lock It In. Yeah, we're running back this fun segment from earlier this season. Trey, he's going to hit us with some straight-up predictions. We'll debate the likelihood of each one coming true. And if he's 100% convinced, he'll lock it in with the press of a button.
This button right here, y'all.
And if we don't convince him, just on to the next one. On to the next one.
That's
All right.
right. Last night, the Warriors lost at home to the Celtics, and this time they scored a season-low 86 points. No big deal, except for the fact that the Spurs overcame a 28-point deficit to beat the Kings, leaving them just a game and a half behind Golden State for first in the West. Guys, it seems like the Spurs might grab that #1 seed. Should I lock it in?
Oh,
Should I lock it in?
what are you saying?
You remember those people who said the Warriors ruined the season by getting Kevin Durant? Now we have the Spurs legitimately can grab that #1 seed. It's so hard to predict, but I'm going to say they don't do it. Don't lock that in because they played 2 more times, the Warriors and Spurs do. The Spurs already shellacked the Golden State Warriors. I think if the Warriors are going to exact some revenge at some point here, in one of those games at least, because they got popped by 29 on opening night. I just don't see the Spurs going 3-0 against the Warriors this season. And that means the Warriors control their own destiny if they win one of these next 2 games against the San Antonio Spurs. The first one coming on Saturday, an ABC special, 8:30 Eastern. Should be fun. Again, the Spurs control their destiny right now if they win those 2 games.
Yeah, they'd be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and they obviously look fantastic right now. That being said, I just think the Warriors aren't going to get swept by the Spurs.
What do you
Who
think?
knows?
I say lock it in because both those games are in San Antonio.
Yep.
And the Warriors are limping right now. They are really missing Kevin Durant because it's not just affecting them on the defensive end. On the offensive end, I think Steph and Clay are struggling under the weight now of all that scoring burden. And Kevin Durant, I mean, he's such an incredible player that you take him out. And people are saying, well, they didn't have him last year and they won 73 games, but they had so many other players to fill in, to cover that debt. And now I just think you're seeing Steph and the Warriors looked tired last night. Look, that often happens when you come back from a road trip as well. Let's be fair to them for that. But the Celtics pounced on them in the fourth quarter, and the Warriors did not have an answer. And I fear that Greg Popovich can sense there's a real opportunity to grab that home court advantage in the playoffs.
Obviously, a different team without Kevin Durant. That's going to happen. I'm glad, Tass, though, you're sticking with the Warriors, because just a week ago here on the show, when KD went down with the injury, we asked this exact same question. The Dubs at the time, though, were up 4 games over the Spurs, and we said, no, they're probably going to maintain that. Now it's only a game and a half, with one team struggling a little bit in the Warriors and the other team looking great in the Spurs. But you said, no, they'll be fine, because now Steph can go back to this sort of MVP level Steph. That hasn't happened. I think we can agree with that, because I thought it would as well. His usage rate would sort of go up, and he would just get back to draining threes. He's just struggled. He has struggled over the last couple weeks here, which is really, really weird. And I thought, and I said on the show, it's like, no other team is best suited to deal with an injury to Kevin Durant like the Warriors, because they got 3 other All-NBA guys. So they've hit a rough patch here. It was a tough part of their schedule. We're not trying to make excuses for them, but you're right. It's just going to come down to these 2 games against the Spurs. If the Spurs win them, they got it. And if they don't, I think the Warriors continue to take the number 1 seed.
And you look at the Spurs, they rested Leonard and Aldridge last night. They're resting players again tonight. So Popovich is taking his best players out, and they're still winning.
Yeah.
He's tactically doing this as well, because he knows they've got the Warriors, as you mentioned again, the Thunder tonight, and they've got the Cavs as well. So he wants all these players fresh. I think he's going to go for it.
Spurs are on a winning streak, but they're not killing everybody. They're playing a lot of close games, and they were down 28 points to the Sacramento Kings yesterday. So I know it seems like they're going to take it and steamroll it, but
they know how to finish, though.
Even though I kind of want them to grab the 1 seed, because that would probably mean the Warriors Thunder in the first round, and that would be sexy time.
Okay, interesting. All right, next. Well, we're saying not to. It's up to you.
Ooh, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I can't do it right now, guys. It's the Warriors. We can't count them out. They're still in first. Anyways, the Heat are hot, y'all. Hot Heat. Because once again, Miami pulled off a big win. And once again, it was Dion Waiters hitting the clutch threes down the stretch. They've been blazing since January 1st, and they're now just a half game back from the 8th seed. Sure feels like the Heat are making the playoffs. Should I lock it in?
Press that button. Just press
Wow.
it. Yes. They have been so impressive. Teams above them, like the Chicago Bulls, have had their key parts the entire season. Wade and Butler, etc. Miami Heat have had so many injuries. Dragic, Whiteside. Justin Winslow was a starter. He's got lost for the year. Josh Richardson. It goes on and on and on. But now they are the best version of themselves. They're only getting better. I think this is the Miami Heat that we're going to see for the rest of the season.
That's fair.
And Bulls and the Pistons in front of them have not been solid. The Miami Heat are doing it as a committee, so I don't see them falling off.
Yeah, and this is not just some 2-week run here. This is now 2 months. This is 2 months of really exceptional basketball from the Miami Heat. Top 6 in offense and defense over those last 2 months. 20-4, basically, over those last 2 months. I'm with you, Tass. I want to lock this one in too. I would rather see this Heat with this sort of scrappy bunch of Dragic and James Johnson and Dion Waiters. Oh my God, Dion Waiters on fire. I'd like to see them. I don't think they'd beat the Cavs or anything like that, but they'd put up a bit more of a fight, I think, than maybe your Bulls or Pistons.
I think part of the reason they've had success is teams are still overlooking them because of the start they had, and they just don't expect it to keep up. I think not only are they going to make the playoffs, they're probably looking at maybe 6th place. They're only 2.5 games back at the Pacers.
That also helps them.
If you're playing, when you're on a hot roll like this, you just don't know where it could end.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you're not just chasing the team that's in 8th and hoping that they also lose. You've got many other options there. A couple of those other teams go on a losing streak, your chances are good. All right, we say lock that one in.
Well, in that case,
yeah,
I'm going to lock it in.
Yes!
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. They've been one of the best teams in the league for 2 months. Like you're saying, Skeets, you got to lock it in.
All right, man.
Whew, feels good. As if their struggles since the Boogie trade weren't bad enough. The Pelicans saw Anthony Davis go down with a bruised left wrist last night on the way to their 6th loss in 8 games since acquiring Cousins. They're 4.5 games out of the playoffs with just 17 remaining, so it seems like the Pelicans aren't making the playoffs. But should I lock it in?
Yes.
Yeah,
we got to call this one. Yeah. I mean, we had hope when obviously they got Cousins, but when you add an All-Star to another All-Star, you shouldn't be the worst offensive team. And that's what they've been since the All-Star break in terms of efficiency, just straight up putting up points, shooting the basketball from the floor and from 3. They're second worst. Okay, second worst from 3 since the All-Star break in terms of percentage. That's just brutal. It's not going to get it done.
Yeah, individually their numbers have been okay, Cousins and Davis. But it's just not translating to any wins. And we knew it was going to take time, and they had no margin for error. being 2-6, and only one of those wins as well. Cousins win it. The other game he was suspended, didn't win it. So impossible to see them making up so much ground in 17 games.
Is this one where we sort of did have it right? Because when the trade happened, everyone's like, well, they're in. Put them in the playoffs. And we said, whoa. It's going to take a bit of time. They don't have a lot of other pieces.
Yeah.
They're picking up guys on 10 days in Jordan Crawford, and he's suddenly like leading them in three-point shooting that game. That's never a good sign. We sort of had that one right, but I didn't think they'd be this far back. 4.5, it looks over, right?
Yeah, but you look at their schedule. It was really tough, not to make excuses for them, but when they acquired Cousins, they were 2.5 back. Now they're 4.5 back. There aren't really many games on their schedule where you look at it and say, well, they should have won that one. Maybe beat the Mavs one game. That being said, there's just too many good teams in the Western Conference.
Yeah. Nuggets,
Not gonna happen.
Blazers,
Especially
Blazers,
for that
Mavs.
eighth-plus place.
The
Yeah.
Wolves are coming in now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lock it in. Pelicans are done. Sorry, New Orleans.
Hick 'em with the L. Lock it in!
Lock it in,
yeah.
lock it in. There it is.
This is an easy one.
Yeah.
Running out of time.
All right, quick break, but after the jump. Tess and I go head-to-head in another heated round of Crossfire. Who's the favorite? What's
I
the
heard
odds?
Tass was a favorite, 1.5 points.
Oh.
Get your bets in right now.
Welcome to Crossfire. This is how it works. Trey will give Skeets and me 3 topics. We'll debate each one. At the end of it all, Trey will declare a winner. Trey, what's our first?
All right, round 1. We're just 5 weeks from the playoffs, and while not everything is set in stone, we do know a lot about who we'll be seeing in the postseason. So, taking a page from SI's Ben Golliver, tell me which player is facing the most pressure come playoffs. Here we go.
Isaiah Thomas of the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
They haven't won a playoff series since 2012, and I think it's all on those little shoulders because they're not going to win a game with defense. Their defense is mediocre, and their offense, well, it relies totally on this guy. It's not a balanced offense. He averages 29, next guy is like 16.9, and he starts each set, as Ben Golliver said. Basically, he's the man that makes everything happen on that team, and I wonder at the trade deadline when he tweeted this, he just tweeted those eyes
eyeballs.
emojis. He was waiting for a guy to come join him, I think, because some teams might just try and take him out.
That's a good pick. I'll go to the West, though, for a guy that's going to be facing some pressure. James Harden, I think, with the Rockets, because he's going to be on a 50-win team with home court advantage, but he's likely going to have to play either the Grizzlies or the Thunder. Both those teams have really solid wing defenders in Tony Allen and Andre Robertson. So outside of the conference finals run 2 years ago, James Harden has struggled in playoffs. You know,
That's
he
true.
had back-to-back years where he shot under 40%. Last year, 41% in that first round. So James Harden, again, having home court advantage is going to have to really come through. So I think he's got some pressure on him.
Can't disagree.
All right, round 2 coming right up. This week, Dirk Nowitzki became the 6th player in NBA history to score 30,000 points for his career. While LeBron should join him next season, I need you guys to tell me which young player is likely to reach 30K. Here we go.
Which young player
That's
is
a lot of K.
likely to reach 30K? I'm going to go, I guess, with Karl Anthony Towns. I think it makes sense because of his age and his skill and the points he's already amassed. He's already at 3,000 points. Pretty good for a guy that's played not even 2 years. Averaged 18 points per game last year at the age of 20. This year, 24 at the age of 21. So he's on his way, and I guess a great bonus with picking the Big Cat, he hasn't missed a game because of injury, and that was sort of a thing we didn't talk enough about with Dirk. That guy played a whole lot of games, so I'll go with the Big Cat.
It's almost unfair picking these guys to get to 30,000 because it's a ridiculous number, but
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Giannis Antetokounmpo because we don't know what this guy is going to become. He's averaging 23 points per game now, and he can't even shoot. He was drafted
Right.
at 18. He's been in the league for 4 years. He's gotten better each year. He's only 22, turned it a couple months ago. Listen, I know Giannis Antetokounmpo works his butt off. He is only going to get better. So that's why I want to pick him, because we really don't know what his potential is. He might be getting taller. His name might be getting longer.
Yeah.
I know that he will be improving each and every summer.
I just hope we didn't jinx either of those two guys. All right.
Round 3 coming right up. The latest issue of Slam magazine features the Sixers' Joel Embiid recreating their famous Allen Iverson Soul on Ice cover from a while back. Guys, what's the best Slam cover of all time? Here we go.
2000 minus 4, 1996.
Oh.
I forgot what year it was. That's why I did that.
That was a weird way to get there.
Probably the best draft class ever. Allen Iverson, you just mentioned, he wasn't even in this
Yeah,
photo.
that's the problem with it, though.
Well, he was so good he got his own. But there's a Kobe there, there's a Nash there, there's a Ray Allen there, there's some expansion jerseys in the Raptors jersey and the Grizzlies jerseys, and it's one of those covers that actually came through because this could be the best draft class of all time. It's not like those Nets jerseys where it's like, hey, win a championship in a year? No, that's not going to happen. This one actually came through.
Well, my favorite Slam cover is the Young Clippers. I love the Elton Brand, Lamar Odom, and Darius Miles. And what I love about it is that they're all wearing each other's jerseys, and we have every headwear imaginable in here. We got the backwards cap, the headband, the do-rag. This was a look back in the early 2000s, the oversized backwards jersey. There are definitely some photos of young Skeets out there rocking the crisscross, so I'll go with the LA Young Clippers there.
The winner tonight, Tess Mellis! 2000 minus 4, 1996.
Money Mellis. That's a 1. That's a 3 minus 2. That's a 1. All right, when we come back, prepare yourself, Manu. You won't believe this week's meme team. Trey made a mess yesterday, paying off his pick'em loss, and we asked you, what did sloppy Trey look like? You guys hit us up on Twitter, #thestarters. Trey got you the best answer.
Yeah, some good zings. This one comes from Tom, who says it looks like he's been hanging out underneath a tree filled with 10,000 seagulls and pigeons. Alejandro says it looks like a lumberjack surviving the zombie apocalypse. Fair enough. Rodder says the next Pirates of the Caribbean villain. They keep making them. People must be seeing them. Jack says it looks like a Russell Westbrook outfit.
Oh, good one.
And Oliver says it looks like wasted Santa Claus dove straight into the sewage system.
Yeah.
Our viewers are funny.
These guys got jokes.
They're good, all right. Every Thursday, guys, we scour the internet to bring you the meme team, our favorite weird and wacky moments from the past 7 days.
At number 5, NBA players create memes. Kawhi Leonard destroyed the Rockets in the last 30 seconds. That led to Manu Ginobili's reaction on the bench.
Whoa.
Look at him.
Whoa.
He's fainting.
Oh.
Paddy's got him there.
Hold me,
You're right.
Patty. Manu tweeted, when a teammate does in 20 seconds what Kawhi did yesterday, or when you arrive to the airport and realize that you forgot your passport. Manu, you're great. Patty also contributed on social media when your mom says you have to finish off all your veggies before leaving the table. Spurs got jokes.
At number 4, we thought for the longest time that the best/worst basketball playing pop star was the Biebs, Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
Guys, we have a new challenger.
Oh!
Britney Spears herself sharing this video of her shooting some hoops, throwing some cool passes.
Is that a good pass or a
But
bad pass?
she's solid at the line here. Glass.
Knockdown.
That's a very solid play right there. At number 3, we call this the imitation game because the Clippers were imitating each other. Chris Paul in the layup line, just having some fun.
All right.
Pretty nice. Well, here comes their center's attempt at the same thing. DeAndre Jordan.
That's a big guy.
That's not bad.
That's
Big
not
man.
bad.
Not bad
Yeah.
at all.
Oh, he's got the flair.
Not bad.
Real nice. They also imitated each other during a game. Blake Griffin's dunk. Jamal Crawford behind him.
He used to do that, Jamal. He remembers those days.
That's teamwork.
Number 2, today's NBA vets. They've changed a lot, guys, since their rookie seasons. By way of the sporting news come these mesmerizing GIFs, or GIFs, however you want to say it, showing the transformation. There's Melo.
Ooh.
This, the best one. Young Birdman turning into a completely different person.
Look at that snarl.
Here come the tats. And here comes the beard. Wow.
Great.
At number 1, so much sliding in the NBA. Watch the paint here. Suns Gorilla had to grab a drumstick mid-play.
Like a chicken drumstick? Or
Uh,
do gorillas eat chicken? I don't know.
I don't think so.
no, that's confirmed. Then Lance Stevenson, he bit it.
Does Lance eat chicken?
Who knows?
Was there a drumstick on the floor?
And now we get to see Lance blowing Lance over.
Oh, it's a meme within a meme.
Ah!
So that's a meme, right? Got it.
We're never really sure. Look, we're never really sure what's a meme here.
Very well done, very well done.
All right.
Some great news. I know we all love round numbers. Well, we hit a beautiful round number yesterday. Number 40 on the season.
Yeah, baby.
Woo! First play of the Miami Heat's offense here.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Rodney McGruder bangs
yeah.
it.
Nice
That's
one.
a crisp wedgie right there.
Oh, we're so close to last year's total.
First play of the game.
Yes, and this is 40.
Yeah.
Number 40 on the year.
Huge.
10 to go, baby!
Only 4 short of last year.
It's only March!
Yeah, we're passing 44. Undoubtedly, 50 is on the horizon.
Oh, yeah. We got 50. We got 100.
We're coming for you, 50.
All right, one more break. When we come back, Lili's very solid play, which may or may not be Britney Spears hitting a little jumper. We'll find out. Back with the starters, quick look at last night's pick'em results. Trey and I got it wrong. We had the Bulls, the Magic pulled it out in the end. Lee and Tass pick up the win. Tonight's game, it's Spurs and Thunder on TNT. 3 of us say the Spurs. I'm the only one going with the Thunder. Come on, Westbrook. Lee, VSP.
We're going to Oracle and oops, the Celtics did it again. Kelly pass off to Isaiah.
Nailed it.
Isaiah hits him back one more time with a beautiful finish. This
Nice.
pass is toxic from Isaiah. Look at that. Great finish. That's what I call a very solid play.
You like Brittany?
Love Brittany.
Good. Tonight, as I said, the first game there, Spurs and Thunder. It's our pick'em game, followed by the Lakers and Suns. Some draft lottery. No, hey, why are you laughing? Some draft
I'll be in bed
lottery.
for that one, I'll tell you right now.
Hey, easy. Draft lottery implications.
Charles Barkley over here.
Oh man, draft lottery implications.
You're
Go
always
away.
in bed for the second game. What are you kidding? Tomorrow morning, we got the Drop podcast. We'll get it up as soon as possible, usually around noon, 1 o'clock Eastern time. So catch that on iTunes, Google Play. We'll get it up, tweet it out. You can find it. All right, I think we have some time for some fans.
Great. This one is all the way from Warrnambool in Victoria, Australia. Skeets, I think you've been there. It's Ashley and her teammates from the Lynx with a great sign there.
Nice.
I think I've been there,
Yeah,
too.
I think you have too. Along the Great Ocean Road there.
Yeah,
Beautiful
for
part of
sure.
the country out
It's
there.
a great road.
Yas was at the Warriors and Knicks game on Sunday with his partner there, girlfriend, wife, whatever, I'm not quite sure. Clemens
Come to conclusions.
and Constantine out in Germany, and they translated this sign into Z Starters. Danke, fellas.
Okay.
Esteban was at the Fortress the other night for the Warriors and Hawks game.
the Life Aquatic.
Yeah, great. He's looking great there. And Nick Rod
Great, Brad.
was in Minnesota last night for the Clippers and Wolves game.
Good stuff.
The last one,
Oh, boo!
Look at this garbage
Boo!
sign.
Get that garbage off.
he's a good friend of yours, of course. That's why you're making fun of him.
Shout out to Roy.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, stay far from Tivit. Only make moves when your heart's in it. And live the phrase, sky's the limit.
Brace the debut.